Hello, everybody. Thank you, and nice to meet you all here. Yes, I'm here. So I'm open to your questions, or what shall we do now? Is my voice clear?
Your voice is clear.
Yes. So yeah.
How about sharing with us your experiences, especially in the Rhapsodia Nusantara?
Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you. So well, I've been composing a lot of music, and maybe that's one of my important thing in my musical career is that a series of piano works called Rhapsodia. Know that for many years, well, until the last century, in fact, have any music, classical Indonesian music, which can age. There were some composers like Amir Pasaribu or whatever, Amir Pasaribu, Mohtar Ambut, and then Yazid Jamil, who wrote some, and they are very good, but maybe not virtuosic enough for the piano, so that Indonesian pianists or even pianists can perform the national stage, like the music of Beethoven or Tchaikovsky or whatever. So it was at that time. It's an issue which I talked with President Gus Dur, because Gus Dur, when he was president, he invited me back to Indonesia. By the way, I live in Spain at the moment. Also, at the moment, I'm in Jakarta, but normally I live in Spain. And in the year 2000, President Gus Dur invited me to Indonesia to perform in the palace as the first Indonesian artist to enter the palace again after Sukarno. And afterwards, we talked a lot about the identity of Indonesian classical music and how Indonesian classical music can become an asset, something that we can promote as part of the Indonesian culture abroad. Of course, classical identity of Indonesia, and that's the most difficult thing. What is Indonesian music? Because Balinese music and Javanese music is different, and even if you go to Aceh and you go next to Aceh, which is to North Sumatra, it's already different too. Each province or each region has its own musical scale, rhythmic structure, melodic structure, and everything. There's this pentatonic, and even pentatonic, there's this thing called pel and slendro and other things. In Sulawesi, for example, there's also pentatonic. So I make a series of piano music called Rhapsodia Nusantara, and each number of Rhapsodia Nusantara is based on music from one region or one province in Indonesia. And that was then after talking with Gus Dur and then talking with President Habibie after he finished his term as president in Indonesia. But Mr. Habibie took it even further, so that since 2013, he asked me to write music for orchestra, but having an Indonesian identity, clear and strong identity, so that orchestras around the world can play it. So I performed. I wrote one number every year. That's the idea for Mr. Habibie, and some of them are played already in Spain, in Singapore, and in World Culture Forum. Yeah, maybe I wrote until now 4, because afterwards, well, we know that sadly he passed away. 4 orchestral works, but with Rhapsodia Nusantara for piano music, I wrote already 39 works. My target, but then after finishing 34. It was last year, and it was during the pandemic. And so in the so on continuing, I keep continuing writing for the piano and for other instruments. So basically that, and Rhapsody Nusantara now can become material for Indonesian pianists to perform around the world, and not only Indonesian pianists, but you can check Argentinian pianists, Russian pianists, Spanish pianists, everyone performs Rhapsody Nusantara in their concerts, which is good for promoting Indonesian music indirectly because they are performing it, and then when they're learning the music, they learn what's the original music, which are the material for the music. So yeah, that's how we promote Indonesian music, not with gamelan, not with Indonesian traditional instruments, but with instruments which are standard around the world, like piano or orchestra or yeah, violin, flute, and everything. So that has been my my work for now, and yeah, very much looking forward to 2022.
Oh, thank you very much,
Yes.
Mr. Ananda Sukarlan. And now, is there anybody who have any questions they would like to ask for our esteemed guests? Maybe.
Hi.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
You may.
Okay.
Hello. Yes.
Mr. Ananda, it's such a pleasure to meet you here. Listen to your sharing here. It is like of experience that you share in a minute that inspire us to become someone like you in the future. And I have an easy question maybe for you. If you were not be a musician, then what would you be? I hope that you can answer my question. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Well, if I would be born again, I would become a musician again. I think the problem, well, not the problem. It's not a problem. In fact, it's an advantage for me, perhaps. Is that I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when I was 28. Although, of course, Asperger's syndrome, I was born with it. And people with Asperger's syndrome, we are limited. We have limited capacity in our brain. And so, I can only do music. And I was very bad in mathematics, in architecture, in drawing, in motoric. I cannot swim, I think. So that's the only thing I can do, in fact. It's not so bad, I think, because I speak English. Now I speak Spanish, and because I studied in Holland, I speak Dutch as well. But that's all what I can. I would like to be but that because why poem bad. Yeah, so a musician, a composer.
Thank you, Mr. Ananda.
Thank you. And well, there's a question from Michael Iskandar. What makes you interested of being a composer? Nothing. I'm not interested. The music doesn't. I mean, I don't choose as a musician. The music choose me as a musician, I think. That's what I've been doing since I was very small. There was a piano at home, and I make noises with the piano. Apparently, the only thing I like, and I can do quite well, I think.
Thank you, Mr. Ananda.
Yes.
Mr. Ananda, I have one. I have one coming from myself. I heard one of your work for the Rhapsody Nusantara was actually inspired by the house lizard noise. How did that came to be? The chichak noise.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not part of Rhapsody Nusantara. I made a fantasy of di dinding. Well, and the song name of the animal is on its noise, tack, tick, tack, tick, tack. So it's not difficult to write. You can listen to it in YouTube, if you search Ananda Sukarlan Steinway, and it's minute after 50 minutes or something, because it's a complete concert and it's one of the last works in concert. So I am fantastic or various Indonesian children's songs like Cicak Didin, Menanam Jagung, Lihat Kebunku, etc.
I see that our Mike has raised his hand. Mr. Mike, do you have any question for our guest this evening?
Oh, yes. Thanks very much. I'm highly impressed with the illustrious record you have, Ananda. It's a real pleasure to meet you tonight. Just two questions. And one is, did you ever receive any formal training or education in becoming a composer? And the other one is a request, if we could you recite to us some of the short pieces that you have composed? But first of all, did you receive any formal training and education on composing music? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I did study music, but after a while, I realized that composing or composition, it's better to learn directly from composers because the composition department in the conservatory, I find it so academic, and it's so one-sided. So that's why I learned from many composers like Toru Takemitsu from Japan, like Sir Michael Tippett from England, Peter Scarthorpe from Australia, and I just came to them for several days, play their music, and then have a talk with them and show my music and discussion and everything. Because in fact, composition is about finding your own voice, I think. The technique you learn in the conservatory, all technique, all the polyphony, all the harmony, and but in the end, it's how you establish your own voice, your own identity as a composer. I mean, it's no point to write music which sounds like Beethoven or like Mozart, because it's been written. I will make a copy of Beethoven or Mozart. So we take their techniques, we take their compositional techniques and apply it to our own music. That's what I think. And then the second question is, you want me to?
Your composition, not ask too much.
Well, would need a piano then, but there's no piano in my apartment.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Well, there are some questions here in the chat, like how from Harlina Indra, how do you deal with cultural differences as you live and work in Spain? Yes, it's this is a very good question. How do you deal? Well, we can choose to lose our identity or integrate our identity with the culture of a foreign culture, and I think I do that by not losing my identity. But of course, it's all based on collaboration and communication, and tolerance and understanding, of course. So, do I have a problem? Not really. I don't remember I have a problem of culture shock or something like that. In fact, sometimes I have culture shock in Indonesia, but not in Europe. If that answer your question. And then there's another, which is, do we need to do more to make the Asian voice or music be heard in the West? If yes, what can we do to improve the situation? I think I've been doing it. I write music which I think sounds Indonesian. It doesn't sound European, although it's using the European instrument, which is piano, violin, and orchestra. How do we make to be known? Well, my music is played by European or foreign musicians, and I think it's like a proxy strategy. They are promoting our music. So this is the good thing about classical music, because we have the music score, with the notes written down. So everybody who wants to play my music, they can just get the musical score and play it and interpret it as they want. And they have to understand the background of the music, which is normally Indonesian folk music. And then with my vocal music, it's more difficult to be performed by foreign musicians, although there are some foreign musicians who, Americans, and there's a Singaporean vocalist who perform my music in Indonesian. Yeah, so I think that's. I hope that answers your question. What can we do to improve the situation? At the moment, I've been working on videos in YouTube. So, I do the shooting in some Indonesian beautiful locations like Toba Lake, Kelimutu Lake, in Flores, Manokwari in Papua. So if you search for Ananda Sukarlan Manokwari, Ananda Sukarlan Toba, Ananda Sukarlan Prambanan, the temple, you can find me playing the piano there while watching the beautiful landscape of Indonesia. And indirectly, people become interested in the beauty of the landscape of Indonesia, and hopefully that would attract the tourists back to Indonesia after the pandemic. I hope. Yes.
Thank you very much. We have one. I believe we have Mr. Thomas first ask his question. Mr. Ananda.
Okay, thank you for the time. Yeah, hi, Mr. Ananda. Nice to see you. Yeah, for you to Yeah, my question is today with or gender technology like the computer. Yeah, how you one ethnic music, for example, like the Indonesia traditional Indonesia, like the angklung, and also some of the music in Indonesia. In combined with the outside the music like America and also Spain to become a new product for the millennia.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that's an interesting question, but it would take a long time to to answer because. But I try to summarize it. Well, I think we have to understand the background and the technique of composition of both culture, like. Well, like the how the melodic structure works with the folk music and how the what's important with the what's more important for the music of Western, like if it's the rhythm or is it the harmony or is it the structure as a whole, the form, and we just combine it. But yes, it takes a long journey to be able to combine those things, especially because they are not written in the books, because it's I have to invent it myself, and by inventing it means that I have to learning, and that also includes, so I have to learn from mistakes, and that's why I keep on working also my houses, because I never feel satisfied. I always think that I can do it better. I think all of us that it's good things to make bad because then we can learn how to make a better one. And a concern, I think, is judge his own music. I always feel that my music is not good enough, and that's why I keep on writing. Yeah, so it's learning by doing and trying different methods, especially because I'm Indonesian, and it's nice for an Indonesian because we have different kind of folk music. Imagine if you are Spanish, you have only flamenco and several things, not very diverse kind of music. But in Indonesia, we have so much different kind of music. Even in Papua, I discovered that there's one regency which is very different from another regency next to it, which is just maybe 20 or 30 kilometers apart. They have their own rhythm, they have their own chanting, they have their own language, of course. But yeah, we are very lucky to be Indonesian, in fact, because we have such a rich culture and such a rich diversity. Yeah. Shall I read the? Yes. Do you write music for singers to sing their songs? Yes, I do write music for singers, and they are all based on Indonesian poetry, most of them. Well, before the internet, I wrote music based on poems, English and Spanish poems. But after the internet, I could read the poems of Sapardi Djoko Damono, Eka Budianta, Hasan Aspahani, all through the internet because I lived in Spain. And then I got acquainted with the poets themselves, and it enriched me because, in fact, it's the language that enriched me and inspired me to write music. And I discovered that my music, although you can always know that it's my music because there is this certain identity, I think. But my music in English and my music in Spanish and my music in Indonesian, they all sound different of the language, the phonetics, and of course the semantics, and everything is different. So everything is enriching for a composer, I think. Different languages, different cultural background. Yes, I hope that answers your question. Mike Lim, yes. So another is from Janet Gloria. Is it better to learn classical music first or pop piano? I want to be better at the piano, but sometimes I get very bored and tired of classical music that are included in the typical grade 1 to 3 books for piano. Yes, exactly. That's why I wrote my own piano music for children, is because I wrote them, in fact, for my daughter, Alicia. Exactly because Alicia wasn't so keen on on playing the piano. So it's a bribe for her to keep on learning the piano. And it becomes Alicia's 6 piano books. There are 6 volumes of Alicia's piano books, and they are now used in Spain, in the music schools in Spain. And yes, there are most of those educational works normally were boring because it's focused on techniques, like how to play with 2 fingers, 3 fingers, how to play chords, how to play scales, and everything. With my music, I wrote it according to our experiences, like dog, you so everywhere. So in fact, I'm writing how to play scales, but I use the imagination of pianists, because I think the most important thing of playing the piano is how to use the imagination. Music touches parts of the brain that normally is not touched by us. And that's imagination, and that's also inspired by Ki Hajar Dewantoro, not one of our, but maybe the greatest educator in Indonesia. He has this method, Sariswara, which is education based on musical arts. So we are lucky to have him, and I think education based on music is very, very effective because it's based on creativity. So it's not only about mathematics and about everything exact, like 2 + 2 is 4, but through creativity there's nothing wrong, because if you want to draw a cloud, it doesn't have to be white. If it's almost raining, then it could be gray, it could be, and during sunset it could be purple, it could be orange, and everything. So when in mathematics there's always right and wrong, in the arts there's it's always it's not wrong, it's not right or wrong, it's always depending on our mood or our creativity or our perception, how we perceive what we see or what we hear. I hope that answers your question. What is your favorite music piece? I have hundreds of favorite music pieces. I love, Russian music, Rachmaninoff, Prokofiev, but I also love Bach. I also love Lady Gaga. I also love Michael Jackson. Everybody inspired me. Beatles, the Beach Boys from the 1960s. Those who are young, you don't know the Beach Boys, yeah. Yeah, there are so many people that inspires me. David Bowie, Queen, Freddie Mercury, they're all brilliant. Folk music from around the world, not only Indonesia. So I hope that answers your question. There is one question directed to me. What's your resolution for 2022? My resolution is to complete the resolution in 2021, which was in fact the resolution of 2020, which wasn't done from 2019. No, I'm joking. My resolution is, I think I would like to concentrate more with my fellows who have Asperger's syndrome, because I think now I would like to focus on them because they are so not abandoned, but people tend to forget them. And now that Elon Musk has opened up that himself, that he also have Asperger's syndrome, many parents who were embarrassed to admit that their children have Asperger's syndrome are now more open, and many people now realize more that being an autist or having Asperger's syndrome are not so bad. And to be honest, I don't really regret having Asperger's syndrome. Well, I live with this, so I don't know life without Asperger's syndrome. So yeah. Yes. Any more?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ananda. I believe I would like to one more by our GE. I saw her raising her hand just now. Madam GE, are you there? Do you have any question for our speaker?
Yes, Mr. Ananda. Yeah, don't worry. I'm kinder than Elios T, and my questions will be easier. Or one question will be easier. Where do you find your inspiration, and what makes you not give up? Where do you find your inspiration? And when you have challenges, what is it that makes you not give up?
Yes, it's a good question, and it's not so easy. To be honest, I find inspiration everywhere. I think inspiration is not an issue. The issue is the technique of writing, because I think everybody is inspired, but not everybody can write down what is inside their head. People tend to forget that we artists, painters or composers or writers, we need lots of work learning and polishing our techniques. So I think inspiration is just 1%, The rest is learning, studying, like I say, learning by doing, including making mistakes, including learning from our mistakes. And what makes me not give up? Well, I don't know. I just, maybe because I'm an Asperger's syndrome, I just do it like an idiot. I don't know what else I can do if I don't write music or play the piano.
That be your passion.
And, sorry?
Your passion. Your passion about
passion.
music, your love of music.
Yeah, I think it's because my love, and also people give up if we think we lose, right? But I never feel I lose anything. I mean, sometimes we win, sometimes we learn, but we never lose, I think.
Thank you, sir, for indulging me. Very, very great sharing from you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
We have two more people who raised their hands. So let's just have two more questions for Mr. Ananda. A question from E.T.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Am I audible? Oh, okay.
Sure.
So another easy question, sir, for you. If there is someone that want to document your life story with its art that you want to be in, like number one, a movie, number two, a song, number three, maybe a cartoon or anything about art. That's my question, sir. You can pick any.
Yes, another difficult question. I don't know, but maybe as a movie, maybe my life is spring. A cartoon, maybe a cartoon. I love Tom and Jerry. That's the thing. Yeah, I think a cartoon movie.
Wow. I did not expect Tom and Jerry, Mr. Ananda. What a great insight.
Why?
Next, we have distinguished Toastmaster Mike. Once again, he has another question for you.
Yes. Please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ananda. Mr. Ananda, early on you told us that you write music for singers to sing to. My related question to that is, as you know, we are a public speaking club. What's your experience of looking at the singers, how they control the voice and how do they project the voice, and what lesson can we take from them to apply to a situation like us here, where we make speeches? Thank you.
Yes. Singers are complex personalities because, we pianists, if the piano sounds bad, piano. Although I always remember what my piano teacher said, that pianists only bad piano. No, piano are only pianists, which means deal with every instrument that is given to me in an answer. That's about, have to, but say both so they're care of their, cannot eat chunks 3 days before the concert. They have, because it's their instrument in here in so is that recording in progress. Yes. So that's what we can learn from the singers, that our body is our biggest, it's very valuable, and sometimes we don't care enough for our body, especially think the instrument inside our body, and so we even our fingers. Of course, our fingers are injured, but sometimes, I do things like, cooking, which is in fact prohibited for pianists. But I like cooking. Also, my food is not special, but I like the pasta and everything. So that's what kind of thing. I hope it answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
thank you. There's one question in chat. Yeah, shall I read it? What is your comment on art careers, painters, musicians, etc., still being looked down in Indonesia by most parents in Asia? Well, now not anymore, I think, because now we can prove that artists are valuable, and you know, if a country is a shop, then art is its shop window. I think we remember, we know Italy, Michelangelo from the films. You know, there's The Godfather and the actors Al Pacino, and recently Lady Gaga. You know, we don't think about Italy, about their economy and their political turmoil. You know, we think about how beautiful Italy, the architecture, the old architecture, the paintings, the music, the films, the books, Umberto Eco, etc. So art is how we show our country to the world, and that's very important. You should tell if their children wants to be artists. And now, you know, I'm working on NFT, non-fungible tokens, for the arts. I think I'm the first Indonesian classical musician whose works is listed on NFT. That's, you know, with the well, you just Google NFT if you don't know it, but I think now many people know it, and it's the solution to royalties and to performing arts, which has been, you know, debated for a long time, especially in Indonesia. We just talk about it, but there's never a solution for it. And now I think, well, digital money and NFT is the solution for everything, not only for the arts, but also for the economic problems in many countries. As we know, El Salvador now uses Bitcoin for its currency, and yeah, so I think all this digital and cryptocurrency is the future, if not the present, for economy and the arts, and for investment as well. I hope that answers your question. Yes, Michael Iskandar. I believe it's not about beautiful food, but you need to cook with your whole heart to make it beautiful and mucho tasty. Exactly. Yes, the process is as important as the result, I think. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ananda Sukarlan. I believe the time has been a little bit overdue, but,
Yeah.
because everybody is very keen to ask you questions. However, we do have a treat for everyone who is present here. We will be playing a short video of Mr. Ananda playing some of his works. So that's.
By the way, can I just interrupt still?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, if you would like to contact me, I can be contacted through Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, at Ananda Sukarlan after this session. So I'm always available.
Great news, Mr. Ananda. And now I would like to invite our Zoom master to play the video, please. Master Titin, please share the sound of the video. Let me unmute